Good morning all. Now we are going to another topic. So this is basic concept of object-oriented programming. So this topic is under EC312 object-oriented programming module 1. So basic concept of OOP are object, class, data abstraction and encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, dynamic binding, message passing. Let us discuss one by one. First class. So a object-oriented programming start with a class. The first step is to create a class. What is a class? Class is a user-defined data type which holds on data member and member function, which can be accessed and used by creating instance of that class. So class is a user-defined data type. It contains data member and member function. The variable inside the class definitions are called data members and functions are called member function. So data members and the member functions are tied together in the class. This property is known as encapsulation. So when you are looking into a class, you can find some data members and member function. To use this data member and member function, you have to create an object or you have to create an instance. So instance of a class is known as object. For example, you can consider a class of birds. So birds have some kind of properties. Means all birds can fly and all birds have wings and beaks. So these are the characteristics. So you can group this into a class. So when you are creating a class birds, the class name is bird, class birds. Then next, if you want to use this class, you have to create an object. Let us create an object under birds, that is parrot. Parrot one of the object for birds. So you can call class is a blueprint of a blueprint. That means if you check the class, you can get all the characteristics of a class. Then you will get all the properties. So you can call class is a blueprint. Then some naming procedure is available. That is, class name must start with a uppercase letter. Even though it is not mandatory, but it's a good practice. For example, if you have to create a class name study, that should be capitalized. If you use two words, then for example, study tonight, S and T should be capitalized. Please remember, there should not any space between these two words. That is study tonight. No space between study and tonight. Then next one, a class contains data member and member function. The member function can be defined either inside the class definition or outside the class definition. There are two procedures are available. So OOPs have, object-oriented programming have all the properties of OOP. That is inheritance, encapsulation, data abstraction, etc. When you are creating an object, it will hold a separate copies of data members. So you can create as many of object. So you can create many objects under one class. In the each time of creation, it will allocate some memory, means it will hold separate copies. Next one, object. The second stage is creation of object. So this is the basic runtime entities in an object-oriented programming. We can call it an instance of class. Objects are instance of class, which holds data variable declared in the class and member function of this class object. Objects are initialized using special class members, class functions called constructor. Whenever an object is created, memory allocated, it is using constructor. Constructor is a special member function. We can discuss it in later. Similarly, whenever the object is out of scope, another special class function is called destructor. The duty of destructor is to release the memory reserved by the object. So, creating memory using constructor, then releasing memory using destructor. Next, when a program is executed, objects interact by sending message to one another. That is message passing. For example, suppose if you have a bank software, then customer and objects are two objects in a program. Then customer object may send message to account object requesting the bank balance. So each object contains data and code to manipulate data. This property is known as message passing. The next another property is encapsulation. Encapsulation is nothing but wrapping up of data and function into a single unit. We have already told a class contains data member and member function. So wrapping up of data and functions to a single unit is known as encapsulation. We can protect data, that is, data is not accessible to outside world. We have several kind of mechanism. This insulation of data from direct access by the program is called data hiding or information hiding. Next one is data abstraction. So data abstraction, we can give the abstract idea and abstract information to the outside. So data abstraction refers to providing only essential information to the outside world, that is hiding their background details. Since the classes uses concept of data abstraction, they are also known as abstract data types, ADT. By using data abstraction, we can give the necessary information only. Another properties is inheritance. Acquiring a property of one class to another class, it's an inheritance. Let us consider an example. If you want to create a bird, it has some attributes, common attributes. If you want another class, that is flying bird and non-flying bird. If you are taking flying bird and non-flying bird, there are some common property of bird. So you don't need to write code from scratch. You can just code first class, that is bird class, to a flying bird. Then some copies, some properties will copy. That is acquiring a properties into one class to another class, that is inheritance. By using this property, code reusability is achievable. Inheritance is a process by object of one class acquire properties of object of another class. The bird part is a part of class flying bird, which is again part of class bird. So you can copy some properties from bird to flying bird. The main advantage is code reusability. The software programmer is no need to create or no need to write program from scratch. He can copy from one class to another class. And he can also add some features. We can add additional features to existing class without modifying it. That is inheritance. Next one is polymorphism. Polymorphism came from the Greek word. The meaning is ability to take more than one form. It's an operation may exhibit different behavior in different instances. In the case of one of the examples is operator overloading. For example, the plus symbol can be used for two purpose. First purpose is to add two variable. Then second purpose is to concatenate a string. Concatenation of a string is nothing but a string combining. So the plus symbol used in different instances. That is known as polymorphism. If a operator shows this behavior, it is known as operator overloading. Similarly, one function can be used in different purpose. Here a function draw is written. This draw is applicable for draw a circle. Similarly, draw a box. The same name is used in different purpose. Using a single function name to perform different type of task is known as function overloading. So we just discuss function overloading and operator overloading. These are two forms. Next one is dynamic binding. So a binding refers to linking of procedure call to code to be executed in the response to the call. So dynamic linking or dynamic binding means that a code associated with the given procedure call is not known until time of the call at runtime. So function call is known only during the runtime. The another method is static binding or early binding. So function call is known at a compile time. That is known as compile time polymorphism or static binding or early binding. Here it is known as dynamic binding or late binding. Then next property is message passing. So three steps are involved in a object-oriented program. First is to create a class, then creating an object, then establish communication among object. This property is known as message passing. An object-oriented program consists of a set of objects that communicate with each other. For this purpose, first creating a classes that define object and their behavior. Then second one is creating object from class definition. Then third one is establishing communication among the object. So these are the properties of object-oriented programming: class, object, encapsulation, data encapsulation, message passing, dynamic binding, inheritance, polymorphism. Thank you.